Hi, you guys. So I'm gonna do light language today. My head kind of exploded again with all the stuff, and I started looking up Greek mythology. And like I thought, there's a lot of shit that I have to go through. Excuse my language, but there just is. There's so many people that write this about the character. They have different names for the same person. They have three different names for the same person as well. So it's just going to take me a little while to get to know the characters as well as what's resonating with what I'm seeing. Love Light, Felicia, is it Felicia? Sorry, and Danielle. I think you guys are helping me a lot on the last video. So if you guys watched it already and you're curious about things that we've been looking into, you can just go back to the last video and look at the comments. We've just been chatting under there, and a lot of stuff's been coming up and resonating. And I definitely think, because even in the original one, I saw the statue of the world on the shoulder, and it's Atlas, and Atlas is turning out to be the son of Poseidon, something like that, and Poseidon, I don't know, I'm probably going to call him Poseidon for some reason. That just is in my head. And then Atlas is, to me, what's even being written about it, I just see Atlantis and that stuff, which is kind of cool. So I'll go into more of that. There's a few things that I want to look up, and keep commenting because I'm having fun. It's bringing up certain things, and something about the atom too, which I thought that symbol that I saw in Japan was an atom as well. And but it was representative of time, which is interesting because the proton is a subatomic particle, right? And these have been proven in science, recent science, that if you give it attention, these subatomic particles can be in two places at one time, meaning they're multidimensional. And so with the atom being that of time, which is why I see it moving so quickly, and it just makes sense because we can time travel. We're time traveling right now. Majority of us are from the future. Majority of us are from the past. There is no linear time, right? So the fact that we are made up of atoms is speaking highly on what we are really capable of. It's just this mind of us that is holding us back from where we could go. So one thing that I just wanted to add, and then I'm going to bring in integration codes. Also, someone else commented about the piercing in the head, and I've been experiencing that too. So I'm going to bring codes in for that. I also want to bring in codes for the throat, and see where we go from there. I just want to talk about, I can't even remember what that came. Okay, so there was a turtle under the water that had this massive weird head, and then Lovelight commented it was something like Gomer or Gomera, and when I looked it up, she had typoed it, not as a mistake. Nothing's a mistake. So when I clicked on that name, like when I put it into Google, it popped up as an island, La Gomera, off the coast of Spain, off the coast of Morocco. Now, last year, no, I think it was 2019, I had this vision of Morocco and knowing that something was off the water of Morocco. And it's just weird that this name took me to this island, which is off the coast of Morocco. So we've got Morocco, right? So Morocco's pretty much here. We have Spain up here. We have, I don't know, this is the UK up here, right? And then we've got America over here, right? And this would be like Florida, let's say, and whatever, you guys know. And so anyway, Morocco's here. This little island is right here. So that being said, it was just kind of like another investigating thing. And then I did look up the Gamera. I'm terrible with names, so I'm going to have to write them down, and I might nickname them. I might name them my own something just so that they make sense to me. I don't know. And so anyway, this island's off there. I'm still in touch with this trinity that keeps coming in. So the U.S. is the U.S. is here. So if we draw a triangle, right? Now, if you piece together the continents, if you piece together the continents of Africa, Europe, and America, they look like they fit together, and they do. So when you do that, it's almost like the UK and America would either, I'm thinking Montana, and a girlfriend mentioned something random about Montana today, but I had this in 2019 as well. I stumbled across this megalift website about Montana, and it was really interesting to me, but there was so much controversy as, no, this is nothing, it's nothing. And so anyway, but I'm kind of thinking it is the Montana area with this Morocco, kind of this big place, and it can even include Egypt and stuff. It's massive. But what's happening here, and it can't even just be Florida. Sorry, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. It's such a mess anyway. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm thinking even like that Miami beach that they built. I can't remember that beach, but they ship in millions of dollars of sand every year because the sand keeps going into the ocean. Like, why would you spend so much money on that? Wouldn't you find a better way to do it? But it's almost like it's on top of something. Same with Dubai. Dubai is built on the water, isn't it? So it can also be hiding massive things under the water. So anyway, I've been shown Morocco, and now with the UK and the US, and now I'm thinking Montana. Anyway, when it pieces together, they were showing me the atom, right? But first they showed me the eye being in this triangle, okay? And then this turned into a pentacle, and then it turned into the atom. So we also have to think of trinities, right? So what they're showing me inside the pyramid, maybe I'll make a separate light language just in case people just want light language. The trinity would be the eye, the pentacle, and then the atom, right? The atom is representing time for me. The eye, it can be the all-seeing eye, but it can also be the cyclopes. It can also be a multiple thing or a multiple array of things. So you can comment below. And and then we've got the pentacle too, which there's a lot going on in my head. Okay, so anyway, so when we have this area, because when I had this vision of Morocco, I thought, like, my first initial thought was Atlantis is off the coast of Morocco. That was my thought. And then when Libya, where did Libya happen? But I think I still said no, I think it's still over by Morocco for some reason. And then with this thing coming forward too, it's just kind of pointing me in this direction where it is. But even in that vision yesterday, it was like it's not there anymore. It's been hidden. But it's still, like, I believe it was there, and when the continents cracked open, Atlantis fell. And Atlantis is massive because we've seen the giants, right? They're massive. They're not just like the giants in Game of Thrones. That's not what the giants, like the giants that I'm being shown are freaking massive. And somebody commented about that angel shadow that I saw in the water. They're like, that could have been Poseidon's, sorry, I'm saying, is it Poseidon? Poseidon's tyrant. Do you know what I mean? It could have been, and it completely could have, like it was like, it would have been 3 points with the middle point having 2, right? So if we take this like this, and then this piece having, okay, there, that's what it looked like, right? So it definitely could have been a trident, because I couldn't see it. It was under the water. It was dark, and we only, like, of course I'm not going to think it's a trident because it's massive, and it was beside the ladder, which I looked everywhere. I still can't figure out where I saw the ladder. It was so random too how things were written, and then they had this the ladder, and it was so out of context, and I was just like, what does that mean? Like, it was just really random. So anyway, okay, so, and then this was beside this ladder, which kind of reminds me of the ladder from that tarot book. So where did I want to go with this anyway? So when the continents were together, then the fall of Lemuria crashed the continents apart, and Atlantis went down. Now, Atlantis is not the only thing that went down or crumbled or got decayed, right? It happened all over the world. We've seen tons of pyramids in China. I was looking up something yesterday, and National Geographic kept popping up, and they have new technology from 2018, and I've been so disconnected from the media that it was kind of cool, and I was like, oh, this is kind of really cool. And they take pictures of the land, and I've seen them do that before in like Antarctica. They'll take a picture, an electric picture or something, they jolt it under the ice, and then they can see like if there's mammoths and stuff under there. And they've had that for a long time, but this is somehow different, and I didn't look into it. But there was something to do with the Amazon pyramids keep showing up. They're resurfacing. Things are resurfacing, and that's the thing. You may run and hide, but you can't hide. You may run, but you can't hide. And that's the same with this stuff. It's surfacing. Everything's surfacing, and because what surfaced before and the hidden knowledge that was taken before, it wasn't the only hidden knowledge. Do you know? Like, it's not the only hidden knowledge, and we're still waking up without this need of knowing our history. So it's very interesting. And then there's another one on National Geographic that I want to look up for Machu Picchu, because they're using this new technology where they take these like aerial views of densities and all that stuff in the Earth's core, and they're being able to map out Machu Picchu, which is in Mexico, right on that cliff. So I don't know, I want to go look up that stuff too. The thing is like, woo, yay, I know where Atlantis is. It's not like that, because obviously this, and Atlas too, like they say he's named after the Atlantic Ocean, but obviously he was before, wasn't he? Wasn't he before? Poseidon. I don't know. And then there's Uranus and Gaia are the parents of the Titans. Like, they gave birth to the Titans and the cyclopes, right? Which is the one eye as well. The giant one eye. So we've got maybe cyclops, but then I need more information on their cyclops. And then there's the pentacle. We need to know what this pentacle is. This can be the financial system, right? The need for outside of us. Because when we do exchange, for example, exchange for me, I think it was 2019, or maybe, yeah, I think it was 2019. My spirit guides gave me like a really big vision, and they showed me about what exchange currency really is, and it's in love. So when I give a service, and when somebody pays me so that I can buy food and have a house over my kid's head and my head, that is an exchange of love. It's giving a service and someone giving a service back to me for something that I have. Now, in a perfect society, we don't even need this, right? It would just be, if you need to be healed, you would come to me. If I needed to get my house painted, I would go to you or your brother or your friend. Like, maybe we would have well, it's easy now, just an app for it. I need this. Okay, and maybe it's just so simple as a credit system, you know? But at the end of the day, like, sometimes everybody has a talent, even if there's laziness. Do you know what I mean? There's still a talent, and this is what needs to be brought up in us, not this thing. So if we see like the cyclops, because the cyclops, in a lot of ways, the cyclops is stupid. It's written in history, so I'm not being rude, but it's because they're so one eye focused, right? And if we think of our third eye, where the cyclops wears it, you think that he would be the smartest magician, wizard of all the giants, but he's not, because he's tunnel visioned, right? And so it has nothing actually to do with our third eye, the all-seeing eye, as much as it does have to do with a one vision mind. And right now I'm kind of just talking just what's coming to mind, because we're opening our perception right now. So don't be afraid to comment, don't be afraid to say something silly, because those are the ones that actually make the next person start to think and say, oh, maybe this, and we'll be surprised what we can actually get to come to the surface without it physically needing to come to the surface. In my opinion, I think I've always loved mythology, but I've never been able to study it because there's just, the names for one are difficult. Oh, that was interesting too, with the atom and the proton being a Greek word. Now, in 2017, I wasn't awakened to communicating with spirit yet, but I was channeling. I was drinking cider and channeling. And I would wake up with these sticky notes, everything, and one of them was learn Latin. And so whenever I'm looking up stuff, if there is a Latin reference, I tend to go there. And there is something to do with the Greek that is just naughtiness to me. And don't get me wrong, I want to live in Greece. Not full time, but for months. Like, I really do. So it's not about the people or the place. It's about what's happened there, right? And where it is in history. And there's something about the 16th century was really brought to my attention this morning as well. So I needed to write that down, 16th century. So there's something of, I want to say manipulation is in that year or that century. Manipulation. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to leave this one for this, and then a comment below if you want to chit chat. I'm just going to write this stuff down, not very diligently, because whatever doesn't really come to mind, I don't really need it, but I do need to kind of map up where we're going. So in my opinion, we're definitely going to Atlantis. In my guidance is definitely focused on Atlantis. I believe it to be in between Florida and that type of Morocco and the UK, that triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, it's just kind of, things go missing there. Like, were they just taking Atlantis under the ocean and bringing it to the Bermuda Triangle? Like, what's under there? And I know planes can go away too. It can disappear. It's very interesting. And then it just brings you to the Truman Show as to if this is just all a simulation to begin with. But nonetheless, it's still a game in my opinion. And it's one I really enjoy figuring out. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going for Atlantis. Now, if it's Atlantis or not. Oh, then with the vision of the cross that turned into the sword, which turned into, I thought was Sagittarius, but it turned into being the Orion, which Sirius is there, and then Orion's belt. Now, my friend told me that one of the stars was Mintaka. Now, Mintaka's been coming in more and more. The problem is they've never told me that it's Mintaka. But the only water planet that I know of by starseed origin is Mintaka. Now, Orion's been shown to me a lot, and it resonates with the pyramids as well. A lot of what's here is going to be pyramids, because I saw a massive golden goddess or god under there. Massive. And so there's going to be hidden treasures, but it doesn't mean that we're going to find them. I just saw the weirdest thing. It doesn't mean that we're going to find them, but we are going to find them. Do you know what I mean? And it will just, we don't need to, my child, when he was younger, he just wanted to buy a toy. I just need to touch it. But the truth of the matter is, we don't just need to touch it. We just need to feel it within our soul. We just have to have it resonate and say, yeah, that makes sense. You know, that's all we need. And we can move forward, and we can actually, through this guidance, we can comb through a lot of crap. And yeah, if you know what the pentacle or the star, oh, I read something it was about Atlantis, I think. Atlantis with the heavens and the stars. No, it wasn't Atlantis. Was Atlantis the one that had to... Okay, so Atlantis, I think, is Hercules, and I might get this stuff wrong because I get things like this mixed up. So if I do, but just kind of go with me. Don't get stuck on a name or a place or something like that with me. Just go with the energy, kind of. So Atlantis was Hercules' brother, I think, or they had similar strength, but Atlantis was way stronger. So there was a fight, okay, and Atlantis got punished for fighting, and his punishment, now Hercules, for a short amount of time, carried the weight of the gods in the heavens so that the stars wouldn't fall onto Earth. Now for me, sun are stars, sun are gods. So the heavens, I still haven't figured out exactly what the heavens would be representation of, but the stars to me would represent gods. So the heavens could be the universe, it could be, and then I was just even thinking of the ozone layer, that when this, because the titans too, we don't know which is good. If it's, I'm kind of thinking the Olympians might be good, and then the titans, there's two things. There was the Antichrist shown and the Christ being shown, of the rising of, the coming of. And with Atlantis too. So anyway, he got condemned for fighting, and he had to hold the heavens and the stars above so that they didn't fall upon Earth. Now with that being said, if we rewrite the meanings of the word, Atlas is Atlantis. Now it did say something like devastating... Crap, what was that? Atlas for his devastating doom or something, which if you think of Atlantis for their devastating doom, I'll look up that thing because I wrote it somewhere. But anyway, you would think of the heavens, if that is the universe, you know, because we're kind of in a bubble on Earth. There's this ozone layer. And remember in the 80s, they were saying that the ozone layer was thinning, just like the veil is thinning, you know, and just what they were trying to protect us from was actually a facade or an illusion anyway, that we didn't need this protection. And they made this burden to hold it on his weight for eternity for one fight that he had. Do you know where I'm kind of going with this? And then this morning I had like zombie in my head. And then, you know, another mother's heart is burning, or no, is hurting or something. And then it's 1960, the theme from 1916, you know, their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns in their head, they are dying. You know, it's just, and it's that zombie mentality too, that wars of the past, we have passed those wars down onto our children, onto us, and onto our children, onto our parents, onto us for centuries, you know, and just the burdens of other people's egotistical fights have been put onto us. If we wanted to fight or not, we were told that it was justified and stuff like that. I'm not saying that I wasn't on the fighting side, because I'm sure I've been in many, many battles. But you know what I mean? There is something around the planet, if it's the ozone layer of protection, that Atlantis had to hold back the gods. Do you know? We weren't allowed to communicate with spirit anymore. I don't know. There's so much coming up. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to bring light codes in on a new video. Okay, bye.